This year has just been fucking irritating.
Well, it was for you, and it was for me.
All right.
Until a week ago.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You saw something.
I saw a motion picture called Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Which is the documentary about the man, the myth, the legend.
Fred Rogers.
The saintly Fred Rogers.
Fred Rogers himself. I'm not a big documentary guy. And I think that goes for, a lot of people, sadly, I guess. I mean, it's not that I don't like them. It's just that...
I don't like when they are just like... They're so up their own ass about whatever slant they're trying to put on something.
Right. Or it's that, or it's... For me, it's always... I like the artifice of fiction, of feature-length films. Even movies that are based on true stories. I like that it's like, okay, this is the dramatization of that event.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
For documentaries, like the true crime ones, and like even stuff like about important shit, like a lot of the Kirby Dick ones, like the ones about like rape in the military and shit that like goes unreported. It's like those are real important, but like they're not what I call entertainment. It's about information, I
know what you mean. I just sort of...
They just make me feel bad. I don't want to feel bad.
A lot of them do, but then there's a lot of the ones like Blackfish where everyone's like...
Yeah, or like...
Oh, you know what? I saw that Blackfish, and now I'm an expert, and like, if you've ever been to SeaWorld, you're a shitty fucking person. It's like fuck you, I was 4, okay? Yeah. Like, I don't have a concept of like...
It's like, you're never going to want to go to SeaWorld ever again. It's like, I'll let my 7-year-old self know that 15 years ago.
Yeah, good, great. I'm not going to go to SeaWorld. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's just everyone... I hate how everyone gets so fucking sanctimonious when they watch a documentary.
And that's due to a lot of, like, the information that's spread. It's a lot of, like, documentaries try to provoke and they try to be expose-ish. And they, that's fine.
I get that. And, like you said, some are important. Some things, people should talk about or, like, whatever. But
I will always...
I feel like that mission has been lost recently with documentaries.
And I will always say that, like, those are never a fun watch. Like, watching fucking Thin Blue Line isn't fun.
No.
It's like, it's good, but it's not a fun movie.
Okay, I've got 2 fun documentaries, though.
Jackass. What?
No.
Does that count?
Pumping Iron.
Oh.
Arnie.
Okay. Yes.
And Baby Snakes.
Yeah,
Which is about, what's his name? Zappa?
Yeah.
And his band. It's crazy.
Does Milo and Otis count? Because I'm a big Milo and Otis man.
What the hell is Milo and Otis?
Oh, man. It was, look it up. It's weird. It was a Japanese movie that they dubbed in English. And I was a big fan of it. It's about a cat and a little dog. But I love it. But anyway, so getting off track.
Yeah, we're getting way the hell off track.
I'm not a big documentary guy. Right. I wasn't looking forward to seeing this. But goddamn it.
You weren't?
Well, because I didn't want to be sad. I'm like, I know, because I've already heard people say, like, oh, you're going to cry. And it's like, by the way, for the record, I fucking did. I squirted tears. Like, it happened. But they weren't sad tears. Yeah, there you go. They weren't sad tears. They were happy tears. Because, God damn it, is this movie good? We have our first perfect score of the year.
Wow.
I was that impressed. And, and I know a lot of, the criticism that people would have is like, well, no shit, it's good. It's about Fred Rogers. The man was a saint. Yes, but it's also just a really, really skillfully made documentary. Like, as far as being a documentarian, the guy, Morgan Neville, he also did that documentary called, like, 20 Feet from Stardom, which is about, like, backup singers or whatever. I didn't see it. But, like, the guy is, like, an interviewer. Like, the kinds of questions he pulls from people and, like, the answers he pulls out of people, he's magnificent. The footage he finds of, like, Fred Rogers doing stuff, like, there's an intimate conversation between, like, Fred Rogers and, like, a child psychologist in, like, the 60s. Yeah. And it's just them talking about, like, she's saying, like, Fred, television's a really important medium now for people to communicate with children. And she's basically telling him, like, you can't fuck this up. And I'm like, how the fuck did they get this conversation? Like, it's just like them in a room talking.
Yeah.
And there's so much footage of just like Fred in really intimate moments with kids and like by himself, like recording, like on set, B-roll footage, all this stuff that I couldn't even imagine like someone compiling and editing together in a way that makes sense. But the way that it does, the director just really directs and edits the shit out of this.
So would you say that, based on what we were saying about documentaries earlier, that this seems to be just more of like a chronicling about a guy who did some good?
Yes.
And what made him good, instead of, like having some sort of ulterior motive?
Yeah, I would say that's probably 85, well, maybe 95% of it. I mean, the movie, this isn't a non-spoiler review,
Right.
but I'll say the movie ends in a place where it kind of poses the question to the audience, like, what are you going to do about it? Like, how are you going to go about your day now that you know all this information about how Fred wanted us to be?
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie is just like the chronicling of Fred and like how he single-handedly saved PBS and like how he
right.
started fucking Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and addressed like so many crazy things. There's just so much stuff in this that just like, God damn it. I hate sounding like a sap, but it fucking warms your heart, dude. Like I loved it. It's like, you know, I love dark and gritty. Like, I love me some Batman Begins and Dark Knight and what are some Unsane, you know, this year. Or like Avengers is really dark.
Well, this time around.
Yeah. But you know what? I didn't know how fucking much I needed. Just like a good time, like a good fun movie, like feel good movie that, yeah, it made me a little emotional, but it came from a good place. It wasn't, you know, this isn't Patriots Day where you're just like, fuck, what did I subject myself to?
Yeah, you're just like, wow, what a world.
What did I do? Why did I do that to myself?
That's exactly what I thought when the credits rolled for them. Like, why did I come to see this?
Yeah,
And again, it was really
fantastic,
good,
but it's just like, fuck.
It's pretty. it's gut wrenching.
Yeah,
but this is heart wrenching.
Yeah, I would say heartwarming.
Heartwarming.
Yeah, very much so.
Warm heart wrenching.
Warm hearting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. And that a lot of that comes from Fred. A lot of it comes from again, as I said, the interviewing, you know, the questions he pulls from like people that were close to Fred, Fred's family,
right.
Fred's associates, actors that work with Fred. They also do some animation stuff in here, which I didn't expect. It's kind of like experimentally where they like juxtapose like Fred's life onto like Daniel the Striped Tiger.
Okay.
Because like do
they do like some rotoscope stuff?
No, it's like it's like an animation little small like little animated segments, but they're like, it's weird. I never, because I mean Daniel the Striped Tiger is basically Fred Rogers, and like anybody who's close to him would have said that. Like his wife says that. It's like Fred was communicating his like fears and his like feelings and you know, sort of problems that he had as a kid through Daniel Striped Tiger, which is like one of the songs that they sing is like, I forgot how it goes, but the song is about like Daniel Striped Tiger thinks he's a mistake. And like he's like singing to this other actress on the show about like how he's afraid that he's a mistake, and she's like telling him, you're not. And it's like, it's basically Fred like talking about the shitty kind of childhood he had, because he was like bullied a shit ton, because they used to call him Fat Freddy because he was a heavyset kid.
I don't know why I find that funny.
Well, I mean, and that's another thing they talk about too, is like they play like the Eddie Murphy "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood."
Oh
thing.
yeah,
they play like that, and like how like Fred was like fine with that, like thought it was funny, but then like they played like the SCTV like Julia Child versus Martin Short like as Fred Rogers like boxing match, and like how Fred would think it was like all in good fun, but like it kept bringing him back to that place where it's like he was bullied as a kid. So like, so there's a great line where like Fred is talking about it, and he's playing like on a phonograph or a fucking turntable. Like it's like the sound of just audience, like canned laughter. He'd have as a kid, he would have a record of canned laughter that he would play in his room, because he did it as like a therapeutic sort of self, you know, teaching moment thing where it's like, he could control when the laughter started and stopped. Is like, which is what he would do, and it's like, God damn it, Fred. You make me feel bad.
That's a little weird.
I know.
Lie.
It's just like, God damn.
So being so nice comes at a price of being weird.
Well, I mean,
I'm
he had a lot of dark thoughts about himself, and like,
I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, but it's like it's interesting to see a lot of that shit where it's just like, fuck, man, this dude was a person. Like, he had like fears and worries and fucking insecurities about shit he was doing, like as a creator. I mean, he gave up he stopped Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for a time and like went on to do something else. And then it's interesting, they bring up like the thing that brought him back to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood again was that he learned that a kid jumped off of a building with a cape around his neck thinking that he was Superman.
Yeah.
And he said like, well, that's fucked up. Like,
is that what he said? Well, that's fucked up.
No, but he's like, kids shouldn't be thinking that. He's like, kids should be able to distinguish the two. So he's like, maybe we got to come back and sort some things out. But there's just, I mean, there's 1,000 things in here. I'm like, I didn't know that.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a good chronicling of the man, what he did, what he went through to as a person to make this show and to do all this iconic stuff. But did they include the scene that was dramatized on Family Guy where he gets shot? Or no, sorry, it was Robot Chicken.
Oh.
Where he drowns the person.
No.
Peter,
sadly, no.
The trolley shocked me. Okay, so that non-existent scene.
Yes, they also didn't have the scene where Stewie kills the the neighborhood, King Friday and all that.
Okay, so they didn't include the Robot Chicken scene or the Family Guy scene.
Neither.
Okay. But overall, so again, your score? First perfect score of the year.
10 out of 10.
10
Without
out of 10.
a shred of doubt, it's the best movie I've seen in all year.
All right, so perhaps I'll see it, and it could be a 15 out of 10. Or
It could be.
a 15 out of 15, a perfect score.
It could be. Actually, I heard that next year, like early next year, PBS is thinking of airing it on
PBS.
Yeah, there's like a show they have called like Through the Lens or something. They're thinking of airing
man,
it.
that'd make perfect sense.
Oh yeah, I would dig it.
So what you're telling people is, if you're listening, to go out and see Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Oh yes, please do. It's something I think we all need right now. A little dose of positivity.
Right. Little PMA, as Matt Foley would say.
Little PMA, little Matt Foley.
Positive mental attitude.
A little Foley-an PMA.
All right, so again, 10 out of 10, perfect score.